Hi, exploring whiskey people.
Before we get to our next review, we want to let everyone know that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
My son Jason was diagnosed with osteosarcoma at the age of 7 and passed away just over a year later, actually in the month of September.
So this month, we are going to be supporting the St. Jude's charity campaign in Jason's honor. Our goal for this campaign is to raise $500. If you have the means, we would appreciate your support in this wonderful charity. There is a link to this charity down in the description below.
Everyone knows that St. Jude never charges families for treatment, but did you know its research is making a huge difference in survival rates? The treatments invented at St. Jude have helped push overall childhood cancer survivor rates from 20% back in 1962 when they opened the hospital to over 80% currently.
Because of these treatments they had as kids, more than 90% of the childhood cancer survivors suffer chronic health problems. The survivors, when they make it into their 50s, experience severe, if not life-threatening, chronic health issues.
We'd appreciate any support that you could give to this wonderful charity.
Now, on to our next review.
Cheers.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin, and this is Exploring Whiskey, where we sample whiskeys from around the world.
Today, we're going to be sampling another Scotch, and we are actually going to have the Laphroaig. Is it 10-year?
10-year.
10
That's
year.
correct. So this is going to be a Scotch from the region that everyone thinks of when they think of Scotch. So this is an Islay Scotch, Islay. This bottle comes from the region. It's a western, northern region of Scotland where there's a bunch of little islands, which Islay stands for, it's Gaelic for, Old Gaelic for islands. So that's what this is. This is a 43%, so 86 proof. Seems to be a bit of a theme for a lot of the Scotches in that 80, 86
Low
range.
80, mid to low 80s.
But this will be, boy, will this be smoky.
I hear it's called a palate wrecker.
There's a good possibility that this is not the type of whiskey you start in the beginning of the evening, that you might finish with the whiskey along these lines. It's going to be a heavier, oilier, the smoke, the brine.
Very overpowering.
What they use is they actually take peat moss. There's not a lot of trees in Scotland, so they use peat moss, and they take that and they use that to smoke and dry the barley. That's what gives it, it's got all the salt notes from the seawater, and you're gonna just get a lot of smoke out of that.
Let's jump right in.
Let's just jump right in. I won't go too heavy on that guy. It is that light color. A lot of Scotches end up being a pretty light color because they use used barrels.
They reuse bourbon barrels.
A lot of times, bourbon barrels, and then maybe they finish it in a sherry or a port or something along those lines. But
a lot of campfire in the nose.
That is a very light color, maybe a light yellow, amber color. Wow. If you like the smell of sitting around a campfire, this is the whiskey for you. Not just smoke, medicinal, a little bit of iodine type.
Yeah, I get that.
Super interesting. Wow, that is a nose that is going to. You're either going to be experimental and want to give that a shot, or you're going to go no.
I don't get much else. I think the
smoke,
the salty, briny. It's very overpowering.
So I've been to Ireland twice, and they do peat moss logs in their fireplace, and this is what, like, you think of a campfire in America, you're thinking of trees and wood, and this is very familiar to a lot of the people in that region.
I don't think it'd be that bad sitting on a fire pit, but all right. Here we go.
It's not as overwhelming on the palate.
No, it's not.
It's there. No question about that. Not as overwhelming, though. It is a...
I get that very briny.
Yeah. I wonder if that's what I'm thinking of on the nose with the iodine, is the more of a salt water.
Yeah, it tastes more.
There's a
Briny.
lot of, like a briny, salt water.
I think when it's bottles like this that scare people off from trying Scotch. When there's a lot of single malts out there that aren't anywhere near
Nothing
near
like
this.
this. Yeah, that's a lot of times. I know I've had to have those conversations of, there's really 5 big regions that in Scotland, and they all really focus on a different type of whiskey. So that Highland and Speyside are a very, very different note than what you're going to get off this Islay.
Yeah, across the taste is much better than the nose.
Actually, the nose has started to mellow out. It's interesting.
Slightly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Smoke is the primary note.
You know what? Even the second taste was much better.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to get accustomed to how overpowering the note is.
I think Scotch like this is absolutely falls into that acquired taste.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Whiskeys in themselves are slightly an acquired taste. This is just like that next level.
Yes. Very much so.
There's a lot of different... If you can start to get past that smoke, brine, maybe slightly medicinal, there's a lot of other notes in there too. There's some funky little... Well, there's some funk. There's some malt note to it too. It's not just smoke.
I was not gung-ho to try this. That first sniff, but again, each time I go back and nose it, it's
not as overpowering.
It's not as overpowering,
Yeah.
and the same for each sip I take.
And Laphroaig, they're kind of fun. As I bought my bottle, I got to register my, I think, 1 square foot of property on the Laphroaig distillery, where they
It's like Jack Daniels
cut
and
up
a Squire.
they cut up the peat moss. I own 1 square foot of peat moss. Thought that was just kind of a fun. You get a little certificate, things like that. Man, that smoke note, again, is still there, has started to disappear. I'm actually starting to get honey, like
There's
fruitier notes,
there's
like a
sweeter
sweet note, not fruit.
Sweeter note.
Sweeter notes. Interesting. I don't think in any of the times I've had this bottle, and everyone can see that's not had a lot. I don't think I've ever gotten a sweet note out of that, but that's actually starting to open up into something that's...
Yeah, this one I completely judged the book by its cover on the initial whiff, and I was like, oof. But no, again, as you
First impressions, right?
yeah, as you get further into the glass, it's not bad. It comes around. Once you get past the smoke, you pick up some of those sweeter notes.
Yeah.
Kind of mellows out a little bit, a touch, I should say. What else does Laphroaig have? They have quite a lineup.
They have a pretty solid lineup. They do. Theirs is not necessarily the finishing that you would get a lot of the lighter scotches, where they do finishing in different barrels of ports and things like that, or sherries. Theirs is all about aging. So they will do longer ages. So this is a 10-year. I'm pretty sure they have a 15 and a 20 and a 25. I know they get up into the 30s.
30?
Yeah, scotches will sit on their whiskeys for a while. So I'm pretty certain there's a 30, but that is not a bottle I'm buying anytime soon.
No, me neither.
Not a cheaper bottle. Man, I am happily surprised that the overpowering note that was originally there has
Dissipates.
mellowed out, and you can start to get more of a sweeter note or any of that. Honey is really what it is. Maybe a little floral, but very solid. I'm actually...
I might even pick up
impressed.
a bottle for my house to add to the bar cart.
And I find it as an interesting whiskey to show people. If you're just, somebody's getting into whiskeys and they're thinking, oh, Scotch, I don't like Scotch. Well, this is going to be that prototypical, that smoky Scotch.
That's the one you finish with. You start with some of those things, that Glenmorangie we keep talking about, referencing the 10, the 12, and then...
Try this.
Try that.
Give it a shot. Let it breathe first. I'm going to say, one, get a good nose in the beginning, get a nice taste in there, and then let it breathe for a minute. I think someone who is a little more patient will enjoy that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. But I also...
I got a few friends in mind that would... No.
I totally agree.
They'll take one sniff of it and like, here you go.
Yeah, I was sharing some samples with my niece and her boyfriend, and I was just like, here, smell this one. I was like, so we started with the Glenmorangie. I was like, really light, really fruity, very, like, you'll just enjoy this. And they liked it. They actually preferred the bourbons, which I was pretty happy to see them go. Weller Special Reserve was very tasty as far as they were concerned. I was like, just smell that. Like, that's going to be the prototypical smoky, briny Scotch. And the faces were, I should have been recording that.
This has been an interesting bottle. I've enjoyed it. Still think it kind of falls in the acquired taste, but I think it's something that I could learn to enjoy.
I'm going to put this in a similar category, at least for myself, as a rye. This could be something that would be really good in the fall, like, as it cools off. Mm-hmm. This might work out, sitting next to a campfire, having a little Laphroaig. Yeah, that I could I'm starting to feel like that could work.
Yeah, this is very enjoyable, very informative. Something I know that I'm interested to try some more that are along the lines of this and see if it's similar. You get that just kind of overpowering at first, and then it kind of opens up and mellows out.
Agreed.
But we hope you enjoyed this episode. I was not so optimistic at first, but I did enjoy it myself. But if you like what you saw and you'd like to hear more, especially in the Scotches, leave us a message. We encourage you guys to hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.
And while you're down there, subscribe to the channel. That always will help. And throwing on the bell icon so you get notified every time we post a new show or episode. We are looking to up the frequency. So I think this, we're having fun, and I think we should share the joy.
Yeah, exactly. We appreciate you joining, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.